Hi and welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I don't normally do unboxings, I think I've done a couple but I don't normally do them, but I'd like to do a little unboxing of this because it's this lens is possibly 10 to 15 years old, but it's in such nice condition I wanted to sort of show you it from opening the box. I actually bought it by mistake. I was looking at a couple of lenses. This is the Nikon Zoom 35 to 135 and also the 28 to 105, and I sort of bid on a couple and bid on this one instead of the 28 to 105 by mistake. So I thought I'd do a quick review of it anyway. So on the box it's got Zoom Nikon 35 to 135 f3.5 to 4.5 N. I don't know what the N stands for. I'm pretty sure it's not nano coating from this day and age. Okay, so open the box. It's got the original instruction booklet. It's in nice condition and nice and simple. You just get the polystyrene innards. Just pull that out and then you get the lens. Now, compared to a lot of the the snowman's lit up this today, so I hope you can see that. Oh God, I mean, pull his arm off. The first thing to notice about these sort of older Nikon lenses is the quality and the weight of them compared to the new sort of plastic lenses that Nikon is selling today. You know, certainly in the kit lens market, you know, the weight of it is. If you held this against like an 18 to 105, I reckon it's probably almost double the weight. So a really nice piece of chunky glass. There's obviously plastic, but there's also a lot of metal involved. So firstly, the range 35 to 135. That's a nice sort of mid-range zoom. The reason I wanted a lens like this was just for when I take my camera out walking my dogs or whatever. I found my 18 to 70 wasn't quite long enough, and the 80 to 200 2.8 is a little bit big and bulky to take out with the dogs, and also it's it doesn't focus particularly close. So the idea was to get a sort of a mid-range, and my two choices were the 28 to 105 or the 35 to 135. Now this is a lovely lens, but the 35 end is not quite wide enough for me, and the 135, I could lose the 20mm off that end happily, but I'd rather have the slightly wider end. So that's just purely me while I'm buying it, and obviously I'm on a DX body as well, so that does make a difference if you're DX FX. Probably if I had an FX body, then this would be the better one, but you know, I don't know. And obviously these are full frame lenses, so on a DX body you're tending to use the sweet spot of the lens. One of the sort of negative points about this lens is apparently it's a little bit soft on the edges, but you don't really notice that on a DX body because you're cropping out that little bit anyway. So on the design of the lens first, just take the caps off. It's a metal mount. It's a driven autofocus, so you need a camera that will drive your autofocus, like the D80, the D90, the D7000, the D700, D600, etc, etc, and it won't autofocus on things like the D5000, 3000, 5100, those middle sort of ones. So nice metal mount, lovely. It obviously is like one of the AF ones that talks to the camera, so it will autofocus and it will also meter correctly. It has got the movable aperture ring. It's basically, if your lens is denoted with a G, it means gelded, and that means they've removed the aperture ring. So if it's with the aperture ring, there's no G on the lens, and you can use it on, I guess, older film cameras, I suppose. So that's that. Next is the zoom, the 35 to 135. I really like these push-pull zooms. It's just a nice sort of bit of a throwback, really. And this one is beautiful and smooth. It's just a nice amount of resistance, but yeah, lovely and smooth. You don't use that ring to focus, that's purely for zooming. So then moving up, you've got the focusing ring, which it is what it is. It's driven, so it's not damped in any way because it's obviously driving the little drive coupler which attaches to the camera. So when you've got the lens off the camera, the manual focus seems sort of a bit sloppy, but when it's on the camera, because it's sort of driving the motor almost, no issues with that at all. So that's fine. It's got a bayonet HB1 hood, which is fine. Doesn't come with it, and it doesn't even fit in the box, so that's separate. And you've got this macro mode, which is really unusual. I've never seen this on any of these types of lenses before, but it's a really unusual macro mode. So you can go out to 135, and I was like, no, macro mode won't engage, because you have to press a little button and then move into the macro zone, which is all manual focus. It won't autofocus on the macro. It's not a problem. So you set the camera to 35mm, press the little silver button, and then you go into the macro zone. Then once you've done that, the main barrel, the zoom-in barrel, does now not move. It's become fixed. And, click back in, that becomes your macro zoom ring for fine-tuning, and it's just a really unusual sort of system. So I've just never seen anything like it. It's almost overcomplicated, and I haven't 100% got my head around it. And then when you're setting up, if you go back too far, you click in, and then you have to click back to go into the macro. So a very strange little macro function there. But I guess there's a reason for it. Perhaps you could let me know what the reason for that is, or why they've done that. I don't know why they've made it almost sort of overly complicated. So the lenses are 3.5 to 4.5, which I like. I prefer that to the sort of the later Nikon lenses, which tend to be 5.6 once they're zoomed in. I do like that extra stop of light, and I sort of prefer that to VR personally, especially on the shorter lenses. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a 70 to 200 VR2, but hey ho. So there you have it, the Nikon AF Nikkor 35 to 135 3.5 to 4.5 lens. The one that I bought off eBay, you get these for around between 100 and 120 pound. This one, as you can see, it's in, I would class this as mint condition purely because I can see no fault with it whatsoever. It's absolutely mint. I've tried it on the camera, my D7000. It absolutely works fine. It takes nice pictures. I've got no issues with any of the images I've had from it at all. It autofocuses reasonably quick. So yeah, if you're looking for a nice mid-range sort of unusual lens with a bit of macro facility on it, then I think that could be quite a nice lens to go for. It's just trying all these different older lenses. I am still going to sell this. I'm going to put it on eBay today actually, and sell it, because I do want the 28 to 105. I'd like to keep this actually and do a little bit more work with it, but I can't really afford. I'd only budgeted for one of the lenses, so at the end of the day, I'm going to sell it and get the 28 to 105, and I'll let you know how I get on with that and sort of how it stacks up compared to this one. Anyway, thanks for watching GRVO TV, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.